Hello everyone, welcome back to another Flames of War battle report. We are having another banter battle report between Mike as Soviet Bagration and Dave as German Bagration, finally getting Bagration onto the channel. A little with the backdrop, I have not got the book. Well, actually I do have the book, but by the time I had already taken the thumbnail and made everything, I did have it. But I had all the resources on Forces of War to do it. The mission today is Encirclement, so this is now actually in the mission pack, as well as a lot of the good missions from the D-Day books and the new Bagration books, included with an updated mission matrix as well to help you pick your missions. So if you haven't seen it already, go to the Flames of War website and it should still be on their front page. So I've already printed off 2 copies for myself and my opponents. So I'd advise having a look at it, and there are some very interesting missions in the form of Vanguard, which is hit my head when I first looked at it, but it looks very interesting and could be a good game. So what we'll do now is we'll have a look at both lists, starting with today's attacker, which will be Mike and his engineer Sapper Battalion. And the good thing today is we've got a lot of debuts, few proxies, but still a lot of debuts. So here we have Mike's list. So we have the debut of the Engineer Sapper Battalion. So this battalion contains 3 companies. They are on the smaller side with just 8 SMG teams, although 2 of them are flamethrowers. Also in the formation are 3 IS-2s. As you can see in the support, plenty of T-34s in the form of T-34-85s and T-34 flame tanks, and also some decent artillery in the form of 122mm howitzers with their OP alongside. And then we have Lucky and Make Your Own Luck. So we'll have a look at the models and a little look at the command cards. So here's the Engineer Sapper Battalion. Yes, I have got a few proxies down here. I don't have the models. It's a bit of an investment to get the 3 of them. But these guys look very good. Obviously they can cross minefields really easily, and they've also got Sapper body armor, so in assaults, if they hit, they actually have a 6+, and they survive. So we got Feel No Pains coming in all of a sudden into Flames of War, interesting. And also both of these companies, all 3 of these companies, have 2 flamethrowers each, so that's not bad for taking out dug-in infantry. Still in formation, we have 3 guards IS-2s, so very heavy armor with a decent gun as well. Only downside is they are slow firing, but they are brutal at the same time as well, which is pretty decent against guns and infantry teams. So here we have the support in the form of the T-34s. So we have 6 T-34-85s. These are just regular guys, so 5 skill on them. And then we have 6 OT T-34s. So these guys have flamethrowers attached, as well as the anti-tank 9 gun on top of them as well. So pretty good for the flamethrower front Mike has today. It is also debut for the 122mm howitzers. Quite good gun, 3+ firepower on artillery, and direct fire 2+. And with them there's an OP as well, so they can see the board between the both of them. Okay, Lucky, we all know what that does. Make Your Own Luck, we've used it before. So basically, before you roll, you use this card and you automatically roll a 4+. So it's when you desperately need that 4+ to get it, you use it, and unlike Lucky, you can't roll and then decide to use it. Okay, and a debut formation for Dave's Germans in the form of a Storm Grenadier company. So the only problem with the German Bagration units is they're all already equipped with Panzerfausts, even the HQ. So some people tend not to use them or take them off to squeeze more points into games. There's a lot of unit cards that can be used to downgrade your units, but Dave has opted for regular Grenadiers for this game, and the Storm Grenadiers do have a decent rate of fire as well. So we'll have a little look through, and we'll have a look at a debut for a command card as well. Okay, so here we have the infantry units of the formation. So we have 2 full platoons, all have Panzerfaust as have to, and so is the HQ, and they also have 2 heavy machine guns added to them as well. We have 6 8cm mortars, and we also have 4 heavy machine guns. However, these will be taken out of the formation because the machine gun nest card will be applied to them. And that is it for this formation. So we'll have a look at the support unit and then the command cards. Okay, so here we have the support. We have 4 8.8cm AA guns. These will be in pack front, so they'll be 4 individual units. We have the official debut of the Nebel Warfare. They have appeared on the channel before, but not with the correct model, so it's a proper debut for them. We also have an OP, a 250 OP with them, and 4 regular Panzer IVs. And that is it. And then we have 3 command cards that I won't have pictures for. We have the pack front and the machine gun nests, and we also have pioneers attached to 2nd platoon of the Storm Grenadiers. And for 1st platoon we have a warrior card. So we have Joseph Schreiber, or hopefully I pronounced it properly. No doubt I'll be corrected, but nice to see a command card for the Storm Grenadiers, and quite a decent card at that as well. So the unit leader hits on a 2+ in an assault, so ideally he's the guy with the Panzerfaust. And then also you have the unit counterattacks on a 3+ as well, which is also quite nice. And so he is in 1st platoon. So 1st platoon has Joseph with them, and 2nd platoon are pioneers. Here is today's battlefield. If you might have remembered from last game, might look a bit familiar, just for the fact is there is no river on the right hand side of the board, because I thought it might be a bit easier just to keep the terrain on the table and just add a road instead of the river, and it made my life a little easier setting up the table. But it was a good table, I thought, for last game, and it just changes because it's a river, so it's a little bit different. There's a few more I've added a farm to it. But as you can see, to the left hand corner we have a bit of a shattered town, forest to the right, and we have some tree lines on the edge of the roads as well, and then we have some nice crops in the middle with the farm, and in the bottom right we have a little bit of a rail network with a factory that's been hit a bit hard. And that is it. So now we'll go into see what the Oracle of Battle has to say. Okay, so the Oracle of Battle is my wife Jen, and she is able to mostly correctly predict the outcomes of battles before they're played. And today her money is on the Soviets, and I think can't blame her really. They have got a lot of tanks and a lot of infantry as well, and yeah, she just looked at them and went, she felt they're going to be today's winner. So let's see if she's right again. So we have deployment. So in reserve, Dave has put his Pioneers, the Panzer IVs and the HQ, and then we have the Grenadier platoon with the Warrior in ambush. So going over Dave's deployment, we have a pack front and a machine gun nest on the left flank with the Nebs behind. In the woods on this objective we have another machine gun nest. On this hill we have another pack front and the OP. Going over in front of the woods in front of this objective we have a pack front and a nest on the objective. Over on the T-junction we have another machine gun nest and a pack front behind, and we have the 8cm mortars behind. Now for Mike's deployment, he has the T-34s over here, and he has a platoon of sappers riding shotgun on them. So I haven't seen tank transport for some time, since before the American mid-war book came out, I think, and I never did it again, as we might find out in this game. And then we have the IS-2s with another platoon of sappers riding shotgun, and we have the OP in this corner as well. We can also see the ranged in marker for the Nebs here, and we have the 8 centimeter ranged in marker here. For some reason Mike put his ranged in marker there. Me and David some debate about what it was doing there, but we'll see. Over in this corner we have the 122mm howitzers. First company of the sappers are right behind the T-34 flame tanks, and we have the Sapper HQ riding shotgun on these ones. So that is it. The Soviets will have first turn, so it'll be interesting to see how these boys are going to do, since Dave has a very threadbare force coming to defend for himself, and then the Soviets are all riding on their tanks, being very juicy targets for machine guns. So best of luck to both of them, and we have Soviet turn 1. Okay, left flank movement, the OT-34s, that's the flamethrower T-34s, did a cross-country dash. Movement was limited because of the machine gun nest. The first company of the engineers are moving up behind them again, doing a cross-country dash. On the right-hand side, the T-34-85s did a tactical, moving around. I just got this guy next to him to represent that the rest of the company's riding on them. The OP did a tactical move, then a follow me, so he's poking his head round the barn, and the IS-2s did a tactical, going straight for the 88 down the road. And that is it for Soviet movement, and now we're going into the shooting phase, so let's see what they can do. Okay, Soviet shooting. The howitzers ranged in by here, spotting for themselves. They managed to hit nothing, unfortunately, ranging in on the second attempt, therefore needing 5s on the Pack 40, the Pack front and machine gun nest. Over here, all 6 of the T-34-85s opened into the Pack front that was on the hill. 1 hit, needing 7s to hit, having to reroll firepowers. First up, Mike rolled a 3+, and then before he rolled his other one, he used his make your own luck, which I think is a good trade-off to get rid of a pack front on the hill. The IS-2s tried to do a similar thing, but being slow firing, they could not score any hits on the pack front. So, with the Soviets unleashing everything they can at long range, it now goes over to Dave and his Germans to reply. Okay, so motivations for Dave. Dave has chosen not to bring in his ambush yet. He's going to save them for another turn. No reserves have come in, and that is it. And I can pretty much sum up, this will be the movement as well, since all but 3 of the units on the board at the moment are static units, and the rest are artillery or spotters, which will stay where they are. So, German shooting. Okay, so with the tank riders, the MGs have actually been firing at the tanks, trying to pick off the people on top. They managed to get the 2 IC over here, and the 8 centimeter mortars managed to range in and pin down the engineers and get one of them. Over on the left, a couple of the pack fronts opened up, only 1 bale on the flamethrower tanks over here. The Nebs ranged in on top of the T-34s. Got no kills, but it was potential hits on the tank riders. Over here, quite a bit more success. This 88 managed to pop up the IS-2 over here, and in total about 2-3 engineers were killed due to the tank blowing up, and some MGs as well. And that is it for turn 1 for the Germans, and now we go into turn 2 for the Soviets. Very good motivations for the Soviets. The flame tank managed to get remount. It did, that's what it did, on a 5+, thanks to a reroll from the HQ, and the engineers managed to rally behind as well, and the engineers that were thrown off the IS-2 when it blew up have rallied as well. So plenty of good news for the Soviets over here. So now we get into the movement phase. Okay then, so Soviet movement. The T-34 flame tanks have moved into range on the Pack and the MG nest. First company of engineers are taking part in Operation Meat Shield around the HQ, so they try and hold on to him. The other T-34s have moved up tactical, really screaming down the board edge to here. And the other company has dismounted and are moving towards this pack front, and one of the flamethrowers has survived and is in range, and the remaining IS-2s have taken up positions for Operation Contingency Plan in case this pack front isn't killed. So there we have Soviet movement, and now we have Soviet shooting. Okay, so shooting has been very brutal. The flamethrowers have cleansed this woods of pack fronts and machine gun nests. The T-34 85s have managed to get rid of this MG nest. This is in combination with some unlucky saving throws from Dave, and the flamethrower from the company here has managed to get rid of the other nest, the other pack front, and the mortars, the howitzers managed to range in first attempt and pin the Nebelwerfers. So quite brutal, really. Very good shooting from the Soviets. So we'll have to see now if the Germans can match it with their own. Okay, so motivation phase. The Nebelwerfers did not rally, and Dave brought in his ambush here, so this was a bit of a salient in a line, that's why I kept the dice down. So they're within 4 inches, so they'll be able to ambush as well, and Dave got 1 unit of reserves in, and he's brought the Panzer IVs. He rolled a 1, so 16 inches from here. He rolled them in to secure the objective and to help out old Joseph with these T-34s. We just went straight into shooting because the only thing I moved were the T-34s. So the artillery re-ranged in and managed to get a flamethrower and pin the unit, did not hit the HQ. The Pak 40 here failed to hit anyone, and the Panzer IVs managed to pop one of the T-34s. Originally we were aiming for this slot, but it was moved. The MG nest got 4 hits on the engineers, but no kills. And these guys did not fire, so they can sneak up on the T-34s, but because none of these guys have been killed, it's going to be very tricky. So there's going to have to be a nice little side assault on this side T-34 to stop everyone firing at them. So let's go into assault phase and see if any of these can be got rid of. Okay, so the Joseph and his friends managed to pop this T-34. The other T-34s managed to pass their counter-attack, but with loads of engineers stuck on the back of them, they have moved back. Because of that, 2 of the engineers riding this tank have been killed as well. And due to their success, these guys have moved back into their foxholes, and that is where they are. So that is where we end German turn 2, and now we're going to Soviet turn 3. Okay, so for motivation, the only guys to rally were the engineers, and they did, and then they moved following the T-34s, going to the woods, apart from these guys who bogged or rolled 1s couldn't get through. The company mounted on the T-34 85s have dismounted and are moving to go for these Grenadiers, and the T-34s, some of them are swiveled around to go onto the Panzer IVs, and the others are going to fire on the Grenadiers. And this company are going to try and get rid of this final MG nest on this side of the board. And that is end of movement and motivation, so now we're going to shooting again. Okay, so in the centre, the flamethrower of the engineers has managed to pin the Grenadiers and kill one of their team, but apart from that they are unscathed. The T-34s then focused their fire on the Panzer IVs, killing 1, bailing another, and then the IS-2s managed to kill 1 more. And the machine gun nest has been burnt to a crisp by the sappers in this corner. The MG nest over here did take direct fire from the T-34s in the woods, but did not get a hit. So there's going to be an assault, and let's see if these engineers can get rid of some of these Grenadiers. So that did not end well for the Soviets. The 4 assaulting teams are dead. And that is some turn of luck for the Germans. And now we're going to German turn 3. So now with Joseph on the board, things are starting to look a little bit better for them. Okay, so German motivation. The Panzer IV is back in. These Grenadiers have rallied, but the Nebelwerfers have not. The Pioneers have come in, but Dave rolling a 1 means they've come over there. So unfortunately, this MG nest needs to hold. Well, we'll basically survive against flamethrower tanks, which at the moment has not been happening. So it is Operation Kill as much as you can for Dave at this moment in time, which he can, but we'll see what happens. So we're going into German movement. Okay, so German movement, the Grenadiers are moving around the T-34s, trying to take away a few of them. The operation parameters now is just give the T-34s a bloody nose and the Soviets in general, and then move back and pull back, because this position is now unattainable to the Germans. So let's go into the shooting and see what they can do. Okay, so over here, both units have been pinned, but no casualties, and the 88 here managed to get rid of a T-34 and bail another. Over here, 2 T-34 85s have been bailed, and a lot of fire has gone into this flamethrower, but he has remained standing. The bail came from the T-34s. Over here, a Panzerfaust managed to take out an IS-2, and the flamethrower has been taken out by the Grenadiers, who are both in assault range, so they can take away a few. So it's a pity they weren't able to whittle down a few more of these guys here, because Dave might have been able to break the Soviet formation. So it's actually closer than it looks. But we will have one final assault before the T-34s get rid of this MG nest. So let's get into the assaults. Okay, so assaults didn't go great for the Germans. They were stopped with 2 shots going here and lost 2 Grenadiers. And over here they managed to bail 1 T-34, and the T-34s countered on a 6, killed the Grenadier, and then even with Joseph in here, the Grenadiers rolled a 2 and pulled back. So that kind of sums up the day the Germans have had, basically rolling 2s and 1s a lot. So that is German turn done. So now we're going into Soviet turn 4. Okay, as per usual, motivations for the Soviets has been outstanding. Really contrasting dice luck this game. So all the engineers and flamethrowers are back in and rallied. Only one of the T-34s has not rallied over here, and the flamethrower has rallied and stuck around, and so has the IS-2. So to win the game, Mike only needs to kill the MG nest here. So let's see if he can do that and wrap up the game, and then I'll talk to the boys about the campaign I'm concocting. Okay, Soviet movement. 4 T-34s have moved to flame the MG nest, and the sappers have moved into the minefield. One of them, to note, did fail his cross-check, and he has failed 2 2+ cross-checks in a row now. The remaining flamethrower from 2nd Company has moved as close as he can to the other Grenadiers to flame as many as he can. T-34s are already in a good position to fire at the Panzer IVs. So is the IS-2, so have not moved. And then the 3rd Company of the engineers are going for the Nebelwerfers. So this ties into this campaign I'm talking about with the boys. So taking out these guys will be costly for the Germans. So let's get into the shooting. Okay, so that is game. We started with the flamethrowers here, burnt to crisp this MG nest. And unfortunately, although each Soviet unit is hanging by a thread, none have been lost, so it's an 8-1 victory to the Soviets here. So I'll take little photos of the man of the matches, and I'll chat to the boys about this campaign I've put together. So this campaign basically is a linked campaign, and it is trying to incorporate battlefield casualties into the progressive campaign. So in this instance, although the Soviets had an 8-1 victory, which would be good in terms of the campaign, they did lose quite a lot in each unit, so eventually this would come back to hurt them. But likewise, the Germans have lost quite a bit as well, and in the campaign Mike would have pushed on forward and killed a few more, which would have been a lot more difficult for the Germans. So what we'll do, we'll play test it, and if it's good, you'll start seeing it in a couple of weeks, and you guys can start playing it as well, hopefully. So until then, keep update for the next video, and it's going to be Tom and Lucas playing the next Cobra mission, so that's going to be a good one to look forward to. So till then, everyone stay safe, and bye.